Hey everyone. Oh gosh, that was a fun day yesterday. Here to do just a real quick update on Bitcoin and of course normal disclaimers, not financial advice. Anything I say is my own opinion on my personal views of the market, and you're responsible for your own trades, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and dive into this. Not much has changed. I'll just kind of go to a lower time frame and just kind of show the construction of this recent impulsive move. What we have seen here, we've seen, of course, our five-wave impulse. We're looking at a three-wave correction, and then we're looking at a five-wave move. And although we have pulled below where our recent consolidation zone was, so we're slightly below that. I still have a little bit of a belief that we are going to attempt to move up just a little bit higher and retest the 8,800 mark. And of course, time does go by, therefore, a lot of these are going to have to be adjusted and moved, and that is perfectly fine. Yesterday as things were happening, we were kind of expecting things to move much faster, and with the amount of time it took for this wave two to finish, when we finished our wave two here to move into our three, um, you know, we would expect things to take just a little bit more time. We're sitting down here right around 8,500. In order for us to maintain bullishness, I don't want to see us penetrate this 8,450 and close hourly candles below 8,450. If that starts to happen, then I'm going to probably start looking for a short position instead of looking for a short position up here around 8,750 or 8,800. I do think that there is potential for us to move up into this area, but we are currently trading in this red zone. And if you're looking to scalp, then this is the zone where you do want to start creating some short positions, as I've been discussing over the last couple days. This red zone hasn't changed since I created it, and we are all the way back here trading in this area. Definitely was looking for this area for a completion, and we are in a bit of an ABC correction here. So moving us up here and go ahead and zoom out here, we definitely saw this as a five wave on our way up here. I'm just going to be very rough and just short and brief about this. We saw a 1, 2, and a 3, 4, and then a 5 to finish that correction. Roughly, I'm not getting too caught in the weeds on that, but nonetheless, this was what appears to be a five wave. And then for ourselves coming down into this B, this could also be seen as an ABC. So starting up here, ABC, ABC, and then bringing us all the way down here to this, and of course on a smaller degree, and we'll throw a little bit of a different color on this just to give it some contrast on the count. Okay, so we were able to complete this. So this was a 5 and then a 3, and then naturally we would be looking for a 5, 3, 5, and so we're looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then moving up to a 5. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to actually adjust this count just a little bit, because I think this is more or less what we are actually going to be looking at here. So I'm looking at this on a slightly higher degree. Going to go ahead and move this up to maybe an intermediate, since it's a larger degree. I'm also going to move this to a different color as well. I want to use, no, I'll just keep it where it's at. Okay, again, we're going to be looking for the completion of this 5. It is going to take a little bit of time here, though, but I do think that we will be moving up here to complete this 5 wave. The 5 wave, which would complete our C, which would complete our 4. Again, I do not want to see us go above this 8800 mark very far. I guess it's okay if we go up just a little bit further, but going off of our trend base that we've drawn out over the last several videos here, starting all the way down here at the bottom, working our way up and coming down, we've basically hit our 100%. The length of that A. And as far as this A coming down to the B here, we hit the 100% on that as well. And actually, this was a little better, as far as a 100% move, as per the length of the A starting from the bottom of our B here. We hit the 100% exactly. But it's okay for us to go to 123.6. 123.6 does have a lot of overlap here, so I do expect this to be significant resistance, especially because that 123.6 is also where we hit our high on that last move. So if we want to also take a look at this slightly different, let's take a look at this on a different time frame. Let's move to a 4-hour time frame and kind of zoom in just a little bit. We are seeing some sell signals on the algos that are starting to show up here. We do see a little bit of a cupping formation here, so I guess I'm going to have to show this. But if I pull out my my curve here, we do see a little bit of a curving bottom forming in this chart. So, maybe we do, maybe we do continue going up from here. It still remains to be seen. This 8,800, again, in my opinion, is really what we have to be looking for, for continuation to the upside. I do think that likely what we're going to see is going to look a little bit like this. So we started from up here, and then we have an A and a B and a C to pull us down here. We, again, could potentially go a little bit further all the way down to 84.50, and then we're going to complete a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like this, which is going to take us all the way out 2 more days from now. So 2 more days, and then this is where we're going to see a much larger 1, 2, bringing us all the way down here, and then of course moving ourselves down to where we were talking previously, where our bottom was going to take us down to about 7,500 or so. I do think that this is still in the cards, and potential for us to come down here is pretty large. Likely the wave is going to look slightly different than that. This is probably going to come a little bit deeper to find a little bit of support there. Coming up here, I'm just going to expand this out a little bit because I do think this is going to take a little more time to happen. Although in markets like this bearish movements do tend to happen pretty quick. Although I don't expect to happen in a 5-minute candle or a 10-minute candle or anything like that. I do think it will take some time for this to play out. But something like this would be perfect, getting us down here to the 7,500. Again, if we also want to take a look at an exponential moving average, let me go ahead and put that on this chart so that we're kind of taking a look at this and we're cognizant of this. Just go ahead and throw on the exponential moving average so we can kind of take a look at that. Let me throw this on here so we can take a look at what this looks like. I'm going to look at the 21 exponential moving average, and I always like for my 21 exponential to be yellow. So let's take a look at this, not on a 4-hour, although on a 4-hour it is nice that we're trading above this, and we're trading significantly above this. So I would expect us to kind of maybe move sideways here for a little bit, wait for this moving average to move itself up. If we take a look at the daily 21 exponential, I'll go ahead and zoom out just a little bit more. This 21 exponential on the daily, and I'm going to go ahead and make this just a little bit thicker so it's easier to see. 20 exponential on the daily, we are sort of ramming ourselves up against that right now. And, to be fair, this is where we broke down from. This 21 exponential is where we broke down from. We did penetrate through it, and then we had a bearish reaction off of it, and that's when we fell over. We barely penetrated through it on this, and I will go ahead and hide this here. We barely penetrated it through yesterday, and then we're having a bearish reaction off of it. So I would say if we see another red candle tomorrow, I would be looking to get out of any long positions that you are in if you haven't already. So paying attention to that. If we look at the 3-day, The 3-day also, we had rejection off of that. We've seen support on the 3-day, we've seen support here on the 3-day, but then eventually we fell through. We had rejection and follow through. Interestingly enough, on the 3-day, the algo is starting to signal a buy. Although I don't pay attention to the algo on a 3-day time frame, you can see that it said to short up here, which was decent, and now it's saying basically to buy or reaccumulate down here. But the interesting thing is the weekly. The weekly, we were sitting above that 21 exponential for a long time, and we just flat out fell straight through it 2 weeks ago. And we're trying to go up and retest this, and this is sitting right at 9,000. I really don't want to see us hit 9,000 right now, at least for a bearish retest. I would expect if we do test 9,000, we are likely going to see higher prices, because that would indicate that we are recovering and we're not correcting anymore. That would basically say that we just finished an A, B, C, or a W, X, Y, however you want to count it. We have a 3-wave correction that has really just completed, and we hit this same zone down here where we bounced off of previously, or at least we got pretty close to it down here at about 7,600. 7,688 is where that low was. Now the monthly, this is the interesting one. So the monthly, it's harder to see on a chart like BitMEX because there's not a whole lot of history here. So we'll take a look at this on Bitstamp, and I can go ahead and pull this into a log scale. So I don't believe I've got too many drawings on this. Let me go ahead and clear these off. They're insignificant at this point. Let's just take a look and see what this looks like. Lots and lots of support that we saw here for several months. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months we sat on that 21 exponential on the weekly. Of course, we had down moves, we had up moves, and then we had down, down, down. Okay, so we had lots of support on that 21 exponential on the monthly, and now we haven't really tested it here just quite yet. We haven't tested the 21 exponential in the monthly. In my opinion, the Stokes have been working to sort of consolidate and to sort of refresh. Again, we've been inside of this channel here. So, paying attention to this zone here, which is sitting at about 7,000. I would expect next month this to continue to move upwards. The nice thing about this 21 exponential is, back in 2017, it was moving up. We had a little bit of a curving movement to start to curve to the downside, and then of course a couple months ago we saw that to start to move up. We are still slanting and with a bullish bias on a monthly time frame, so you do have to kind of keep that in mind. So I would expect this to be a little bit of support. Again, if we go back to 2015 and just to kind of try and compare, there are some major differences between 2014, 2015 versus 2018, 2019. Yes, we did have rejection here and a pull down and a correction. So, and to pull us, basically back up and kind of where we're at right now. Although, one thing that I will say is, back in 2015, and of course this was December of 2015, so the time of year is different, the fundamentals are different. There's a lot of differences now compared to what things were back then. But if you take a look at this, we had one green candle that took us basically right up to the 21 exponential. And here we had one green candle took us right up to the 21 exponential. Then we had another green candle that had a strong rejection here. So that's a decent rejection on that, but we had follow through to take us through there. The candle where we started trading above the 21 exponential on the monthly did not have that same rejection that we had back then. And also we have our rejection candle. So this is the candle I'm going to be comparing back here. And the difference is, the following candle, let me go ahead and clear off some of this. So the following candle was red with basically it's kind of engulfing. I'm not going to call it engulfing, but it had about the same body width or the body size as the previous red candle. Whereas, a couple months ago, we've just been continuing to bleed, taking us back down here, of course, to the 21 exponential on the monthly. So while we haven't really retested that, this month is looking, very laissez-faire on on the charts. And while we are still only 10 days into October, um, unless we can get ourselves back up to 9,500, which is where the monthly opened last month, things are still going to continue to look a little bearish. I do want to see something that looks like this. What we saw in January of 2016 was a decent 14% red candle. We had an open of $430 and a close of 368. So of course, when the candle opened at 368 in February of 2016, we wanted to see, a candle closure close to where this one opened at 430, and sure enough, this one closed at 435. So this was basically bears saying, I want to drive the price down, and bulls saying, nope, it's not going to happen. That's what we want to see, and we haven't seen for these last 3 months. The last 3 months in July, August, and September, it's been red month after red month after red month. And that's only going to last so long. I will recognize that, which is probably one of the reasons why October so far looks green. But on the flip side, if we take a look at July, August, and September, there were moments in time where those months were green also. So I don't want to get caught in the weeds on this. I really want to wait for this candle to close. If this candle closes up here at 9,500, I'm full on bullish at that point. If we close above 9,000, or even if we start trading above 9,000 pretty consistently on lower time frames, I'm going to be flipped bullish. But right now I'm looking 8,800 as our 8,800 is going to be where I'm going to be expecting things to start to to break down. And I'm going to be looking for those lower targets between 7,000 and 7,500. I don't quite think that we're going to go down to 6,000 or 6,400 just quite yet, but we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there. Right now, really paying close attention to that 21 exponential because it has been a governing factor throughout most of Bitcoin's background. So on the 3-hour time frame, if you're able to pull that up, you're able to see that when we're trading significantly above that 21 exponential, we do tend to find support here and a bounce. And then when we start to trade much farther below that 21 exponential, we usually come up to it and we roll over. So, follow the trend, see what these moving averages or the mean looks like at the time. What we're looking at here, we're looking at a bullish bias on the 21 exponential on the 3-hour. So when we come down to test it, naturally you're going to be looking to scalp a long position, and that did happen to pay off. So as long as this 21 exponential is moving in the upwards direction and not sideways and not sloping down, I am going to be looking for this to continue to move to the upside. But again, I'm still looking for the 8,800 mark. That's going to be what the trade is for this 8,800. Looking for the 8,800 because again, on a different chart, this is still going to remain the same. It's $8,801, right? So we're looking at the high of this, which is 8,856 cents. So yeah, potentially this is going to be that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So starting from down here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to be looking for that 5 up there at 8,800. And that again is perfect for a C wave because again, moving ourselves back here, and not to be too redundant because I had this on the other chart, but we are looking for the A, the B, and then the C to also complete up here in this area, of course, on a higher degree. Going to be looking for that to finish. So again, I'm looking at a 5, a 3, and then a sort of an extended as far as time period goes. This 5 happened very fast. This B was very, very long, very similar to our C that we're seeing here. So if we're going to want to actually take a look at a time frame, we can actually take a look at this and go ahead and measure the length of the B and see how long it's taking for our C to complete here. So let's just take a look and see what our time frame looks like here. So let's go ahead and take this to 1.25. And let's throw on a 1.5 and a 1.75, and let's throw just a plain 1 on here. Okay, just to kind of take a look at this. So we have 25% of time of the length of that B, 50%, which is where we topped out yesterday. So basically what this is saying is it took half the amount of time to hit this point as it took for the entire length of this B to occur. So 75% is going to take us to October 10th, and I mistakenly put a 1 in here when I should have put a 2. And this will take us to 100% of the length of the B. So I would say somewhere inside of here, we're going to be looking for this to occur. So this is going to be anywhere between October 10th and October 12th. So, somewhere in here, I would expect this to complete, for us to get up here to this 8,800 mark, and then to start to eventually roll back over. Although, I do have to recognize that on several time frames, the algo is telling us, the 1 hour said to sell all the way back here at 85.89. The 2 hour recently said to sell here at 85.63. The 3 hour is it just completed this at 85.52. The 4 hour is currently in process right now. So, again, this sort of validates that we could be going just that a little bit lower. Again, down to we really don't want to penetrate this 83.50 mark, 8400. That's really the same range that I'm going to be looking for here. So give the Stokes some time to reset before we start to see a move back up to 8800. But if we do penetrate this level here, which is going to be about 83.50, if we start to trade below 83.50 on, I would say, 2 hour to 4 hour candles, if we start closing below that, I would say that we're done and we are moving down. I would say that we would have to recognize that this is complete and we're going to start to move down, and we're going to look to short on the next retrace. All right, well, that's all I've got for now. That was 22 minutes of greatness. So again, if you do have any questions or anything, feel free to ask me. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. If there's anything specific that you'd like for me to take a look at, I'd be more than happy to take a look at that as well. Otherwise, I will catch you on the Discord. If you'd like an invite, feel free to shoot me a message, and I'll be more than happy to go over that with you. So everybody have a good day, and I'll catch you later.